I was always that kid that was fighting. I was quite an angry kid. A lot of my anger was thrown onto other people because I didn't know how to handle it. Eventually, I did get put in a youth prevention programme. 4 years ago, I didn't think I'd be sat here today, no way. A sport can save someone's life. But for me, that's exactly what it did.
Welcome listeners to the Creating Effective Change podcast, where we give a voice to the younger generation, explore real stories of youth in our society and discuss important issues affecting young people today. My name is Charlie Aston, and for this episode on women's sport and the importance of community, we are joined by a member of the Manchester Under-18s women's football team and captain of her community, Arissa Raja.
It's an honour to be here today, so thank you.
Congratulations on getting selected for the Manchester United Under-18s team. That's a really big achievement.
Thank you. It was definitely a rough road, but I think with all the help that I had and all the support that I had growing up as well, it was bound to happen. And I love football and I love my community. So,
what was the selection process like for that? Were you in a team before and did they come watch you play?
Kind of like, so I joined Street Reds to start off with, and it's just kind of like this free football session that the Manchester United Foundation do. And then I joined Eccles College and they have their own team. We play matches every Monday and Wednesday and we train every day. And it's intense. I'm not in the first team yet, obviously, but it's a lot of fun.
I bet it's a lot of commitment, all the training and stuff. Do you find it like physically quite tiring?
It is a lot of commitment to keep my fitness levels up. And I live in Manchester and my college is about an hour and a half away on the bus. So I'm getting up at like 6:45 every day to get to college. I think it was necessary for me to get out and for me to find myself in a new place in a way. I found a good balance now. So I kind of have my training, I come home, I eat, and then I go to the gym and then I go to bed.
I'm sure football brings a lot of discipline and purpose into your life. I'm wondering, what was your life like before you discovered football?
So football's been in my life since I was young. My brother used to play. He was a great goalkeeper, and so I used to go with him sometimes and play, but I didn't really get into it myself until about year 8 or 9, which is late to start for a footballer. Like I've always said with football, you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it. Before it was more, I was getting into a lot of trouble. Like you said, I didn't have a lot of purpose or discipline, and although my mum and dad brought me up to always, be respectful and, do your best, I was always falling into the wrong crowd and surrounding myself with people that probably don't want the best for me. I definitely fell into a lot of dark places with my mental health and everything. But eventually I did find football and I did find the Street Red sessions. And ultimately it is the foundation that saved me and it is my coaches that persevered with me and took a chance.
That's fantastic. Would you have any advice for another young person that's having difficulty with their surroundings and with the people they hang out with and struggling in school?
I think the best advice I can give someone is let it pan out. Let yourself experience everything you want to experience, but do it in the right way. I wanted to do so much when I was younger, but I was pushing the boundaries a lot. It feels like the end of the world right now for them, probably for year 8, 9, 10, 11s, because they're doing the GCSEs, they have options, friendship groups in high school. High school is just, it's one of the best experiences ever, but it's also one of the messiest experiences ever as well. But I think they all should know the half of people in their life right now aren't going to be in their life in 3 years down the line, and they haven't even met half the people that are going to be so important to them. And the reason they're going to want to go to college and go to a sport session. But definitely let yourself experience new things and don't stress about the future. Just kind of live in the present.
Yeah, it can feel like a lot of pressure, can't it? I remember doing my GCSEs and it's just mad how much pressure you put under yourself. And you're right, the friendships and the people you surround yourself with, some of them might be wonderful friends that you keep for life, but a lot of them, mightn't be people that are there forever. So stressing about them and putting their needs above yours is a bad idea. So how did sport particularly help you to overcome those challenges?
One of the big things for me is sport in the community and the importance of sport for people, because I don't think people understand how a sport can save someone's life. But for me, that's exactly what it did. Growing up, I wasn't an active member of a team or nothing. But as soon as I started going to these sessions every Monday and Wednesday and I started, seeing a lot more of my coaches, I saw a direction for my life. 4 years ago, I didn't think I'd be sat here today, no way. But I did think I'm somewhat good at something. Let me see what I can do with it, kind of mould it my way. That's exactly what I did. I carried on playing football. And like I said, I don't think I'm not the best footballer in the world. I never thought I'd be able to take it professionally, but I did think there's always an area in sport someone can get involved in. It's that because it's always inclusive. And that's exactly how it was for me. And I've made some of my best friends in sport, and I've met some incredible people. So it's been a good run.
So it sounds like routine was a bit of what helped you as well, you know, going every Wednesday or Friday or Monday and Thursday. Also very much seems that the people that were there were really positive force for you.
100%. Routine was a key thing for me because I never had a routine before Street Reds. It was more go to school, mess about, come home, mess about, you know. I was always that kid that was fighting, and, you know, I was quite an angry kid. And a lot of my anger was thrown onto other people because I didn't know how to handle it. So eventually when I did get put in a youth prevention programme, we talked about my actions have consequences, and realising that there was an issue was a big thing, because if you kind of ignore the fact there's an issue, you're not going to get anywhere. But sitting down and acknowledging you're angry, you need to find another way to let all this anger out. And that's exactly what we did. I started going to my lessons. Like, if we compare the reports from the first week of year 9 to maybe the last week of year 9, it was go to 2 lessons a week. And at the last week of year 9, I was pretty much in all my lessons. The exclusions weren't as much. I wasn't getting excluded every other day. The phone calls home weren't as much, so my mum wasn't worrying every other day. So definitely having that routine of going every Monday and Wednesday, having a path, knowing what I'm doing, because, you know, I got rewards for it. I got rewarded for trying to sort my life out. And 100% the people as well, my coaches, Hannah, Lauren, Mo, Anthony, Nick. You don't have to take a chance on someone, but they did it. I'm sure there's been times where I let them down and I fell back into this place, but each time they were there to help me back up. And each time I thought it was the end for me, they gave me another reason why, you know, it wasn't. And even the people I met while playing football, they'll definitely be my best friends going into the future as well.
So before this, were you struggling in school or finding it difficult to concentrate in class?
Yeah, 100%. School has never been the place for me. I've always been an outgoing person. I've always been confident, but school made me feel a bit, I don't know, not understood in a way. It wasn't the teachers, because there were some incredible teachers that helped me. It was more the environment. I went to an all-girls school as well.
Right, yeah.
So it didn't help. They would say all sorts of stuff. And even though it might not seem that deep now to me, back then it was the end of the world to me, because why are they saying that? It makes you doubt yourself.
100%. All girls schools are tough.
Yeah, they definitely were. And it was tough for my whole family, because I used to come home and I used to probably let out my anger on them and then just go to bed. And even if they said just ignore him, you'd always have that doubt in the back of your head. Yeah, I did struggle with my mental health a lot. And I lost one of my friends last year as well.
Oh dear.
So that was really difficult as well. Yeah, losing her was really difficult. Having my coaches, having my community, having my family around me, it really helped.
I'm really sorry to hear that. That's definitely something that's really difficult to go through. It's good that you've got good people around you to help you through it. It's kind of unimaginable. But yeah, girls' schools can be really tough.
It was a horrid You know what? Some of it was okay. I enjoyed the end of the year and everything. It's parts I enjoyed Duke of Edinburgh when we went.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because the bad I don't know if the bad outweighs the good or the good outweighs the bad, or maybe it's a balance.
Yeah.
But it was really difficult to go to an all-girls school, especially when you're not a typical girly girl, I'd say. You know, I wear tracksuits, I dress, you know, and then the things they'd say, it's just like, was it worth it? I don't know.
Those sorts of friendships definitely aren't worth your time.
Yeah.
But often as well, it comes from an area of being insecure themselves. I went to an all-girls school and I struggled with that too. I had some great friends, but you know, girls can be catty. And they're super intelligent as well, girls. So they kind of play a different game than boys.
Very intuitive as well. They'll pick at something and then just play on it and play on it and play on it. It wasn't all bad. I'm probably making my school seem really bad. The teachers are amazing. And I did make some really good friends in high school who I'm still friends with today. When you're in that environment of just all girls and it's so many emotions are coming at you at once. There's either so many emotions or no emotions. There's not really a balance there.
I mean, I'm sure you know now from being in your team, female relationships can be super positive and super strong. I think in school you're just all bunched together and you don't choose the group 100%. Of people.
That's when I went to college, I was really afraid because I was going to a college nearly 2 hours away from my house and I knew nobody. I went with a mind of a fresh slate. And for the first few days in college, I didn't really talk to anyone. I played football, but I didn't really make any new friendships. But as soon as, our matches started and training started properly, all the girls in the changing rooms became my best friends. So college is definitely my big support system now. I have an incredible group of friends. I'm really enjoying it there now.
Amazing. So when did you start going to college?
I started in September. I kind of knew what college I wanted to go to months prior because I looked at it and I looked at the football aspect of it. But it was all just about getting the GCSEs I needed, which I just did. Just
amazing.
Just about. I got what I needed. And then it was off to college. I got my ID. It was all kind of a dream until the day hit and I was like, oh, what have I done? I've gone somewhere none of my high school friends are, none of my family is. I don't know anyone. I don't even know the buses around there to get home. It was really scary. But I went and I did it and I kept going. I didn't like the first few days because I didn't know anyone, but I kept going and I pushed through it. And, it was fine. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
That's really cool. That's a big leap of faith that you did that. And sometimes change can be really scary, but also really positive. And so is football a big part of your college? Do they have a strong team?
I'd say so, yeah. So the Manchester United Foundation obviously works with the college. We have a massive Astro pitch at the back. And I'm doing my level 3B second sport there as well. So I kind of I do all my work and then I'll have an hour training in the day. I'd say the teams are pretty strong compared to last year. The girls team, there's a first team and a second team now because so many girls joined. The team itself is strong. We have good communication. Everyone gets along.
What position do you play?
I play left wing or left back.
So do you get to score goals?
It kind of depends where my coach puts me that day. So sometimes if I'm on left wing, kind of more attack. So down the wing, up the wing. When I'm in defence, it's more probably because our left back isn't there that day. It's very tiring. You have to be very fast and have a lot of agility.
Yeah, I bet. Speak to us about becoming captain of your community. How did it feel to receive that award and from a famous football player as well?
I didn't know about it. I didn't know a single thing about it. It was a college trip. Well, obviously it wasn't a college trip. Mum knew about it and my coach knew about it, but they kept it a good secret from me because I didn't know anything.
So it was a big surprise. You didn't even know.
Massive surprise. So I knew that we were meeting some of the players today and I was really excited because I thought, I bought my shirt, I can get it signed, we can play a bit of football. The editor and stuff for the Manchester United Foundation takes all the pictures and everything. She came up to me and she said, you're having an interview with Bruno. Do you know what to say? And I was like, not really, no. I've never done this before. And within 30 seconds, I was sat on a bench with a mic connected to me and he was walking over. So I didn't get much time to say anything or do anything. He came over, he shook my hand. And I thought it would be really awkward, but he's really sweet. It was amazing. And we talked and I talked to him just like I was talking to you about my journey and everything that happened. And then in the middle of it, he just said, oh, well, we're rewarding you with this. And I looked at it and it was incredible. He put the armband on me and it was, Community Club Captain for 2024. We took pictures and I got this massive frame as well of a football shirt and it says my name in it. To get picked for that and to have so many people see it and so many people have come up to me about it, everything, it's been amazing.
So what is your community like? What does it mean to you?
I grew up in a very tight community, so it's kind of Whalley Range and Chowton, I'd say.
Okay. Growing
up, I was really close to my cousins and my grandparents. We are a really tight family. We knew everyone in the community as well. We had friends and friends' mums, friends' dads, friends' siblings. Everyone knew each other and everyone got along with each other. And we used to go to the park when we were younger and everything was fine. For me, in my community, a lot of the thing was there's probably not enough sport in the community. I wouldn't say it was underprivileged, but there were definitely other places that had a lot more. I moved house a few years ago. That's when my football stuff started properly and I was representing my community through the Manchester United Foundation. Soon I got put on a youth panel and I got to talk to Andy Burnham. I got to go to Germany.
Wow.
I got to do loads of things. In December, I got picked to be a national advisor. So a month ago, I went to London to talk about the importance of sport in the community and what we can do to help. Do you know what? It was small things as well, like donate scarves, donate hats. And I work with the Michael Carrick Foundation as well, just helping out, giving football boots to people in the community at Old Trafford Sports Barn. I don't think I can pick just one area. I represent the whole of South Manchester. I'm glad my name's getting out there. I think because I'm the same age as all these people, it's more for like a respect thing, and the younger kids kind of look up to me as a role model.
I mean, it's amazing to have such positive impact on the community, and it's really nice to have someone young who's representing the community as well, because then the needs of the young people get met. So you've been on Sky Sports and you're on all these foundations and you're on podcasts. How does it feel to get recognised for all this work that you're doing?
I never thought, I didn't get into this to be recognised, So when I started 4 years ago, I was on this Youth Voice panel. And now I'm on the BBC Radio, Sky Sports. It's been incredible, and I couldn't have done it without, my family and my mum helping me. It's been amazing having little girls and boys come up to me and ask for pictures.
Sport is so heavily documented now and widely followed by so many people, not just on print media, but also social media and on TV. And so with that, sometimes comes a responsibility for athletes to represent themselves and to represent the sport and to be a role model for other people. What do you think about that?
I think if you're such a prominent member in the community, the least you should do is try to represent that community. And I've always said, don't forget where you came from, don't forget where you started, because a lot of people, when fame hits them or money hits them and they have this power in their hands, they forget whose table they were sat at and who fed them. I think a good example would be Marcus Rashford. He's one of my favourite football players, and last season his goal record was amazing, but he never let go of his community and everything he's done for the community, free school meals, and his community is Wythenshawe, and Wythenshawe definitely respects that. And so I definitely want to be like that. I don't want to forget everyone who helped me and all the names that helped me get here today.
Rashford's a really good example, isn't it, with the school meals? I think it can be really wonderful to have role models within sport, particularly for young girls who are wanting to get into sport, because still we're kind of breaking through into having more women play sport and more representation. Speaking about that, is there any role model or woman in sport that you looked up to when you were younger?
I didn't really watch as much women's football when I was younger. There wasn't a lot of money in it. I think women's football kind of blew up when the Euros blew up and they won the Euros, and it was incredible. And all of a sudden, all these women footballers getting recognised when they should have been recognised years ago. Growing up, it was more boys football. But, from the past few years, it's definitely been a lot of the Manchester United women players. Seeing them play and how technical they were, definitely like Ella Toone, Mary Earps. They're definitely two of my favourites. Leah Williamson, Katie Zellum. Seeing them play and recognising them and thinking, oh, well, I've never watched these play before, but why haven't I watched these play before? You're not asking yourself those questions. But definitely, I think you can only grow up and you can only learn from maybe your mistakes. But I think a lot more people should be into women's football. Definitely.
I don't think it's at all your mistake. I think it's the mistake of the funding and the marketing and the packaging of it,
The advertisement,
Yeah, 100%. It's just so accessible and so mainstream to watch men's sport. And it's wonderful as well. I really enjoy watching men's sport. I'm really guilty of it. I watch the rugby, the men's rugby all the time. And I can't remember when I've watched a women's rugby match. And it's really bad. But hopefully, and there seems to be some breaking through now of more funding, media coverage for women's sports. That's something that's very slowly growing. It's definitely an issue that needs to be tackled, but it's wonderful to see more women football players being recognised.
Do you know the women winning the Euros when they did, and the men that year when they didn't win it, they lost to Italy, I'm pretty sure. And the women coming in and winning it, it was amazing, kind of not proving a point, but also kind of proving
showing
a
them
point.
how it's done,
Showing, definitely.
Yeah, it was a really big moment. I remember my dad watching it. We were actually on the ferry, I think from England to Ireland, and my dad was watching it and he was crying because he gets really emotional when he watches anything. But it was really wonderful to see it and to see them get the recognition for it. And it was a huge moment. So apart from sports or sports people, is there anyone that you looked up to when you were younger that gave you inspiration and motivation to keep going?
There's been loads of people in my life because, like I said, I grew up in such a tight-knit community. It was definitely a lot more of my family. My mum, 100% to start off with. I grew up in a family with just strong-headed women who knew what they wanted and they don't take no for an answer. My sister, my brother, my dad have always supported me. But I think who I looked up to always was definitely my mum and my mum's dad as well.
Yeah. No, I'm the same. Mums can be wonderful role models. It's good to have another woman in the family that's showing 100%. You anything can be achieved. What is your team like? What does it feel like to be in that community?
It's always positive conversations, and actions. It's a really nice place to be. They're all really supportive, even on some days where maybe I can't play. They'll understand that being able to talk to them. It's nice.
So they're there for you off the pitch as well?
Yeah, we're just really close friends.
So we touched on it briefly. Women's sport is on the rise across the board, but there are still issues that need to be addressed, and it's imperative that women and girls are at the centre of the conversation. So what issues do you think are persisting in women's sports today?
It sounds so simple, but it's just sexism. As a girl who grew up playing football, I think I was one of the best players in primary school compared to the boys and compared to the girls. But the boys would always say, oh, you're a girl, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I think, I'm 16, nearly 17 now, and the fact that that's still such a thing for, men to say. They think they're better. They think they're better at, sport than anyone else. So I think that recognition of, these women are incredible and they love their sport and they love what they do, and it's their job. When a man plays football, a man turns a career out of it. It's, oh, look at him, he's doing great. But when a woman does it, it's, why is she doing that? It's two different mindsets. And I think as I grow up and as I talk about this more, I think one major thing I want to do is twist the mindset a bit and have everyone thinking the same thing when it comes to men and women. I want them to enjoy watching women's football or women's rugby and whatever else.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the perspective needs to change, doesn't
100%.
it? There's still that very outdated perspective that women don't have a space or a place within sports. Is there any other things that you notice about women's sports where we could make an adjustment to help women have more access?
I think there should be a lot more girls-only sessions. When I started at Street Res, there was a girls-only session, but there was only 2 girls going to it. And that's because predominantly this session was boys. It's completely different football, comparing boys and girls. Now there's a lot more girls that come to the sessions. For girls, a big thing is they want to feel safe and they want to feel welcomed. So in sports and in any session in the community that I want to involve these girls and show them that it's a safe place. They aren't going to get made fun of if they can't do one thing, because you know what, there'll be a boy there that can't do one thing as well. If you're a beginner, regardless of your gender. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing that I want to change, just making it more inclusive and making it more, safe and a positive environment for them.
For sure, yeah. That's a really good point about environment and feeling safe. You can get in your head. It's very common to see, boys kicking around the ball. Yeah. It's not as common to see girls, but it's just really silly that, isn't it? So having that welcome factor with a club or with the session for girls to come.
Yeah, like I said before, girls are very intuitive. So the girls I'm friends with, we can feel if someone's energy is off or someone's saying something. So if you go into a session where you want to play sport but you can feel someone's energy, you're not going to want to play. You're going to feel like you're not welcome there. It needs to be a positive environment, a safe place for them.
How could we encourage more girls and women to be committed to sport and to get involved in it?
I think one of the big things is marketing, advertising, put more girls in these advertisement posters, get women footballers down at these sessions. Do whatever you can to prove that there are women in sport and there are women succeeding in sport. I just don't think there's enough coverage of it, enough recognition. I'm speaking a lot about football, but it's definitely every sport. If there's more women mentors, there's going to be more girls going to the sessions.
So tell us a bit about boxing. Boxing seems to be the other sport that you do. When did you start boxing?
It's very on and off. I'm very stable with football, but boxing was always on and off. So I did it a bit when I was younger. And then in high school, I was always fighting and I was always, really angry, punching walls, whatever else. So one of my coaches, we kind of got into this. It was sparring, but it was more technique. And that was at Huff End Leisure Centre with one of the boxing coaches. And it was incredible. It was a safe place to let out my anger. I definitely want to get back into it again. And they all said they'll come to my first fight. So
you're going to do it competitively, get in the ring?
Hopefully.
Boxing's wonderful. A lot of the young people that we work with start doing boxing, and it, as you say, allows them to let out some of their anger, frustration or aggression in a really safe space, but also teaches them discipline. And strangely enough, it has a team to it as well, because you have the people there. Yeah. But it is interesting to think about girl space within boxing, because a lot of the time you go to the boxing gym and you will be the only girl there. Yeah. And it's quite intimidating, isn't it?
Intimidating, yeah. It's just when you're the only girl in a room full of boys. Even if you're the most outgoing, confident person there's always going to be a thought in the back of your head like, oh, should I be here? Should I not? All the boys I've worked with have been really sweet and, have always made me feel welcome. But that's not the case for everyone. one of the most intimidating things for girls. Going into a sport, boxing would be kind of one of the scariest ones because there's a lot of stereotypes in women's boxing as well. You have to be a certain way, act a certain way, look a certain way. You know, you can't just be yourself. And
it's quite limiting, that, isn't it? Yeah. 100%. Having an idea of how someone should be.
Yeah.
As a final point, how has football changed your life?
If we compare year 9 me to year 12 me, I think you'd see the difference. Physically, I'm a lot healthier. Back in year 9, I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't really drink any water. My diet was terrible. I was doing things that, you know, were bad. And I was only doing it because I thought it was cool. You know, that was my mindset. And it was a terrible mindset to have. Not only was it, you know, mentally draining me, but it was physically draining me as well. I was always really pale, always ill. I got my life back on track and I let go of a lot of people and I let go of a lot of grudges. And one of the hardest things was to let go of my past, but I did it and I let go. And I'm here now. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm playing football every day. I think I'm the healthiest I've been in a long time and I'm the happiest I've been in a long time as well.
Do you have any goals for the future? It doesn't have to be football related, but just like goals that you're setting yourself for the next
I think
thing you're going to go?
My top 3 goals are I want to travel.
Okay.
So in the next 3 years, I definitely want to see whatever I can, whether that be kind of moving away for uni. You know, I'm thinking about it. Another goal would be to stick with the foundation and street games and just to see how far I can get with them. And the last thing, see what I can do with my coaching. The last 2 months have shown I'm okay at speaking and people don't mind listening to me speak. So if you're good at something, definitely use whatever you can.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely a good speaker. There's lots of words of wisdom.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. It was really wonderful speaking with you and getting to know you better. So that's all for today's episode.